Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday, the 14th of March. So today, let's firstly look at the news events for coming out, and we've got a lot of ECB speakers, and this is potentially going to affect the euro, but um, so much jitter chatter going on there. I don't know. I think the markets are letting it wash over themselves a little bit, but anyway. Key thing here is comments that come out like this. You're starting to see the doves getting more dovish. We'll have rate cuts. It should maybe read, or two cut rates twice before the summer break. There's a possibility, but if the first one is in June, well, we'll see. Anyway. Important news coming out though today is the US retail sales at 12:30. Just remember it's normally 1:30, but 12:30 because the clocks have dropped back or gone forward. Then we've got the US PPI there at 12:30 as well, and this is really you'll see comments. Everything will be ahead of the PPI result, so that might just hold things up for this morning, but we'll see. Right, let's have a look at the markets in terms of where they are. I'll just switch on to daily, that's better. So, starting off with the euro dollar. The overall trend here is still up. Yesterday ended up as a positive day there. It was looking very bitty at one stage, looked like it was going to roll over. Eventually, we got the sort of the bite here. Earlier in the week I was looking for, considering the long side on this. Well, it was untradeable because waiting for the news there. The news spiked it, and well, it's moving in that direction as it happens. Stop placement might have been a problem. Anyway, retracing at the moment with these speakers, just looking at what's going on here at this stage. Yesterday did eventually start the move there. It was quite sort of 11 o'clock-ish it started going, and well, a bit of a trend upwards, went a bit further than expected. The pivots have widened out a little bit today, but currently it's just looking a bit soft, lower high on the lower time frames here. Let's see if we can get back above its pivot. If we can get back above the pivot, I might be interested on the longer side, but it is quite messy, and maybe with those other speakers it could stall. The pound, you can see on a daily basis, it's just consolidating here into all been consolidating, but it's going to a bit of a wedgie pattern, which is always a bit on the riskier side. Actually, it doesn't look so bad. Should I say that? Yesterday, it's just one of those days. You see the euro pushed up there, the pound just couldn't go anywhere. I'm still waiting on I prefer the upside here. The pivot's now so pinched there, not overly great here. You might find an R3 or an R4 sort of come into play, or S3, S4 a little bit more into play on a day like this when they're so pinched. But it doesn't seem to be a lot to move this market today, apart from the inflation data, the CPI later from the US, and that might just get it going. But it's slow, it's messy. The thing is, people get tricked into trades on the likes of the pound there, and only for it to just then go back the other way a little bit, just trick out the other way, maybe stop them out, then pull back into the original direction. And being in cash is a trade. US dollar yen, well, weird old price action going on here. The weekly pivot is certainly holding it at this stage. I'd quite like to see a breakdown of the trend that's sort of running up here. If we could get a breakdown of that, it'd be quite interesting. But it's really is quite a mess. And what we're seeing here is quite rangy, tight. Again, not an easy one to get a read on. We have got some. Well, it's more of a wedge than anything else. We've got lower highs and higher lows basically in this last day or so after that first bit of news earlier in the week. Right, Aussie dollar. Again, consolidation phase continues. got this. Okay, let's just go back again. We had this sort of towards the upside, the same as the euro. It's ugly what it's done here. It's uglier, but it's still at the moment on the 4-hourlies. We've got effectively still got this bounce off of its weekly pivot. I was waiting for a clean bounce off the weekly pivot on these markets. It has done it after the news there, and maybe I should have been a little bit less conservative. it possibly doesn't look so bad here, but anyway, it could. I talked about the euro being a bit more positive. It closes above its daily pivot. This too, the pivots themselves are all pinched again. There could be a trade back up towards its quarterly pivot, which was pretty much the resistance last time. Yes, it did spike through, but that was on news. I mean, news might do the same thing again. Of course, the risk is that we just end up with all these US pairs. I see the major pairs chopping through till 12:30. The US dollar CAD, well, same old ugly picture. No real trend at the moment. Real chop. You saw yesterday it did actually shift through there at 1 o'clock. It did get a bit of a mover. Is it? Just saw I'm talking thinking to myself here, is this going to actually work off of this a weekly pivot here a bit more? Are we going to see a breakdown further? We could check out things this morning, but it's a possibility. New Zealand dollar very rangy. Still, I was looking yesterday to see if we get a breakdown towards the lows here. Just not happening at this stage. Very choppy. Very. The trouble with a lot of this price action is you get lower highs, higher lows. They're just all mixing. Everything's mixing up. So you're getting a spike one way, then a spike the other way. Okay, this was the 10 o'clock reshuffle that we've seen here, but it's taken out those prior lows. It's a mess. We're seeing that every morning, every 10 o'clock session. We get this sort of drop down here occur, consolidating where it is at this stage here. Really don't like the idea of trading that at this stage. US dollar Swissy, I might come back to it later and think it looks a bit better. US dollar Swissy trying to push back up there on the dailies. I mean, these days you can see how small the candles are, and it just shows you the volatility's really dropped out the market. Even more if you needed to be shown or told any other way. I mean, we saw it over the last couple of weeks there. Actually, last week itself was probably quite volatile relatively. Other pairs, let's just have a quick switch through these other pairs. Euro yen looks like it's got more potential for the upside at what we're seeing. Just have a look. It's broken back above its weekly pivot. A break of these highs here, I was looking at this before. Break of this 50 MA now actually I was looking at it into its weekly pivot last time, see what it did. It's broken that, maybe, and it's broken, retested that sort of area, and well, if it can break back above here, it could be up for a little bit more of a stretch of the legs. The yen is still looking slightly soft. Other pairs that I've been looking at this week, one was the Euro Aussie, and well, that's just I've been looking at this week. It's gone flat. It's basically flatlined all the way through. I was also looking at the pound New Zealand. It was looking particularly likely it was going to run off. There's a head and shoulder pattern here. It's just not happening. It's just chopping. So can't make a silk purse out of a pig's ear, as they say, if I can get it the right way around. I will leave these. I shall see if I can get a trade this afternoon by the looks of things at the moment. But I'll keep an eye post 8 o'clock. Sometimes we just get that bit of a starting block that creates something. We have still got all these ECB speakers coming out. There might be enough within that to get the momentum going. Which way though is the problem? It's still looking largely on the bigger time frames, it's still largely looking on that sort of more bullish lick. Right, on that note, I'll leave. Oh, actually, sorry, let's just have a look at gold. I forget myself, getting ahead of myself there. Gold then, still hanging in around the highs here, not really, again, just consolidation. Maybe the PPI will sort that out as well. Not a lot more to do there. Crude, no, it's starting to try and do something here. Maybe, no, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's still as ugly as sin. It did actually get the shifter yesterday there. Actually went at 9 o'clock. It started picking up, didn't do very much in the afternoon. But as I said, at the moment, whilst these markets, say these markets, particularly the oil markets like this, I'm not trying too much with it. I don't need to be first into any new trend that starts or whatever, so I'll leave that as it is. S&Ps, well, I just read somewhere we haven't had a 2% retrace since 2018. So what? Yeah, there we go. But it's just continuing to seem to want to push up there, giving us fresh highs every few days, every week it seems. Was it 5 out of 8 or something like that, or even more, have been positive weeks, so can't really do too much for that. And Nasdaq, it's just got into a bit more of a chop, but it's still sitting around its highs and good enough to push up some more, I guess, if we get some sort of if the CPI was to come in really low today, maybe this would kick the equity markets as well. Bonds, they seem to be being great demand for bonds at the moment, so it seems like a real weird old market at this stage. DAX looking positive this morning, a bit of a bitty out. Look at a tiny day yesterday. I was looking at it in the morning at one stage, but it's just a mess. Actually, it might have been the day before I was looking at it. Anyway, either way, it's a mess there. Right, it has got the potential just for upside, but we'll see what happens post 8 o'clock again. Right, I'll leave it there. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you. In the morrow. Bye for now. There we go. That's that done.